I'm in Los Angeles. Oh. Okay. Oh, sorry. Am I on the wrong screen? I am. It happens. It's bound to happen. There we are. And there's the chat room. Everybody, welcome to the show. It's Hal Sparks, Mega Worldwide. It's the afternoon Los Angeles edition. Boy, did I roll in here hot just in time. Holy smokes. That was quite the drive. I'm okay, though. I made it. I'm here. I will be all right for the show tonight. What? I'm fine. I'll get a little nap in theory, after the show, before the show tonight, and then I drive back. Greg Edmond says, what is the number one difference between Democrats and Republicans? The Democrats believe in the rule of law, and Republicans believe in the law of rule. I like it. Start an Epstein chant. Epstein. I don't think you'll have to do that, actually, Karen. Hello. Hi. Waving, everyone. Good to see you. Also, I think, Substack won't be in the chat with us, will it? It's always a separate one. I'm hoping Substack gets on the train and joins the Restream world so that I can fold that chat into the other one. We Are the Third Estate has joined over there. Fiona, hi, Fiona, Loretta, Jason, Vanessa, Robin, good to see you guys over there. And of course, there's Vincent and the Soulcraft and Peter Reed and Susie, and saw Paul earlier, and Mark P. Thank you for reminding everybody to hit that like. You too, Andrea. CSL is with us, of course, in material and spirit. Now, thank you, Sarah, for being a Patreon, patreon.com/HalSparks. That means you get to see the comedy show tonight for the low price of $5. Cheaper than seeing me live, but not quite as smell-tastic. I feel like I smell terrific. For at least the meantime. Now, lots to cover today, obviously, and I will not get through it because I got to do a tight show because I got a show tonight, and I just finished driving. But there are some stuff. We have not heard from someone that I think is kind of crucial to this. One of our favorites, one of the people who's been kind of lagging, kind of holding back in the conversation, and you can see why. Greg Kelly, the most miserable man on the internet, has put a pin in discussing controversial matters like Jeffrey Epstein for a while, and you can imagine why. Yeah. Mike, yes, my mic 60% of the time works every time. So here's, I want to share something with you real quick, and here's the thing. I don't know if he's going to be particularly morose about this. I think, well, we'll show you. I don't pre-watch this shit, nor should you. This is the Epstein saga intensifies, Greg Kelly reports. This is not what he wanted to have happen. So here's Greg Kelly explaining the scam and the hoax surrounding the Epstein files. There it is. It explains the scam and the hoax. The scam and the hoax. It's going to be so adorable.
So President Trump saves America. And
from what? Women's rights?
They're literally obsessed with this guy.
Oh, they are?
It's not why I voted for President Trump.
No, this isn't why you voted. You didn't vote to find out about Epstein? That I believe.
What was going on with Epstein? I've always been kind of vaguely interested, right?
Oh, yeah. You've been vaguely interested. Hey, kids, shall we jump in the Wayback Machine? Because I had to. I had to right here. How about this one? There's a younger, more butch Greg Kelly when he still sort of gave a shit and probably had a car service, had his earlier time slot before they gave it to Greta Van Susteren, before he officially became the most miserable man on the internet. Greg Kelly, ladies and gentlemen, I still have questions about Jeffrey Epstein. This is from 2 years ago. Vaguely. That's probably a typo. I still have vague questions about Jeffrey Epstein. That's probably what he meant to say.
Remember him? Jeffrey Epstein.
No, I don't. Most people aren't interested in him. It's bogus and boring, I heard.
Still did not kill himself. He is still alive. My strong suspicion.
Whoa! Oh, there's an echo on the video? I'm sorry. I know what that is. Beg your pardon. I will fix it because I can. 1 second. Wavelength. Put this thing up here. Thank you. And then mute it on there. I think this will do it. Fingers crossed. Here we go.
Yes, just that he is alive and well somewhere, that his death was faked. Try looking for the pictures of...
Okay. 2 years ago, Greg Kelly was like, not only did this motherfucker not kill himself in jail, he's still alive. He escaped. He was part of the nose doesn't fit crowd 2 years ago. And again, he's showing on his long suspicion. Yes, just that he is alive. Run that by me again, asshole. Wow.
Alive, my strong suspicion.
Strong suspicion. Greg Kelly believes that Jeffrey Epstein survived the attempt on his life or faked his own death and escaped jail. This is 2 years ago. Greg Kelly, the most miserable man on the internet, is farther out in the reeds than even yours truly is willing to go without a smirk on his face.
Yes, just that he is alive and well somewhere, that his death was faked. Try looking for the pictures of his body. All right. They actually are findable on the internet. Once you find them, this is not the picture. You'll see somebody who is not dead.
All right. Now, granted, Greg Kelly still can't talk. I don't know what. Run that by me again, dipshit.
The picture. You'll see somebody who is not dead.
You'll see somebody who is not dead. If you look at pictures of Jeffrey Epstein being taken from the jail on a gurney, you will see somebody who is not dead. Now, you will see somebody that was not declared dead at the jail because nobody continues to ventilate someone who's been called at the scene on the floor of the fucking jail, right? But okay, so good.
Jeffrey Epstein, quick review, 2008, convicted of all kinds of sex crimes.
No, he wasn't. And also not procuring a 14-year-old girl for just a minor. They didn't list it as 14. So it could be anybody under the age of 18. So he didn't have to register in New Mexico, you asshole.
Procuring erotic massages from children.
Why would you go erotic massages?
Very, very serious stuff. I know it. You know it.
That's right. It's very, very serious stuff. And you know what, Greg Kelly? I need you to tell this asshole.
And they're literally obsessed with this guy.
Yeah. Tell Greg Kelly, tell that guy that was just talking about how serious this is.
How is it that Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton and
Donald Trump,
those important, very influential people somehow
Donald Trump
really picked up on this, huh? Were they charmed by this guy?
Would you raise your hand, please? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in the matter now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you please state your full name?
I'm Jeffrey Edward Epstein, and my residence address is 6100 Red Hook Boulevard in Virgin Islands.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Yes.
What was the crime of which you were convicted?
Two counts, one soliciting prostitution and procuring a minor for prostitution.
Wow, Jeffrey Epstein in his own words. Speaking, have you ever heard the sound of his voice before?
No, I wish other people gave a shit. Just 2 years later, apparently this asshole couldn't give two shits, Greg. Do you by any chance have this asshole's number? Maybe you could call him, tell him how serious it is, because he doesn't really give a shit at all.
But I don't know. Yeah, I read the news as it came in. Now that I've gone a little bit deeper, I am convinced that this whole damn thing was a scam and a hoax. President Trump is right to trip up his first administration and create this kind of seeming mayhem among the...
Wait, trip up his first administration? He was president when Jeffrey Epstein was fucking arrested and died in jail, or didn't die in jail, according to this asshole. Oh, Greg, I think all men are confronted with duality at different times in their life. But you among men are particularly burdened by the weight of being full of shit in two totally different ways in two totally different time periods, so that you'd be unrecognizable. Now, I'm sure we're all willing to forget that your dad got you out of your sexual assault charges, allegedly, that you had alleged against you, allegedly, because you never had to face trial because your dad was chief of police. Allegedly. Well, he was the chief of police, actually, but that he intervened allegedly. So I don't know why you would, I mean, I do understand why you'd be a little sensitive, about this kind of stuff. Right, chat room? Sorry, what was old young Greg Kelly saying about this?
Did he say he lived at 6100 something Boulevard? He was the only house on that little private island. That's why...
They're in Florida, fuckwad. He's talking about the house that was less than a 6-minute cab ride from Mar-a-Lago.
Billionaires and the leaders of the world love going to it. Complete seclusion. The crew that he hung with, they knew this stuff about him, and they continued.
It's interesting that you show the guys at the posing things, but the party pictures of him and Trump, where Trump's literally whispering in his ear about how hot certain chicks are. That you're gonna, I guess we're not gonna see a clip about that. Do you think wasn't there cleanup? I mean, there had to have been, right? Greg Kelly has always loved Donald Trump.
To hang out with him. Bill Gates, master of the universe. Why were they getting together?
Master of the universe? Who calls Bill Gates master of the universe? I always thought of him as sort of king of the dweebs. The guy whose company would have folded if Apple's desktop UI didn't become like the R&D system for Windows.
Were they talking about climate change? Were they talking about computer software? I saw this guy actually with my own eyes once at a Broadway show.
Sorry, Greg Kelly, you were at a Broadway show with Jeffrey Epstein. And you're just, all right, he's just bringing this up now. I mean, 2 years ago.
I knew in 2009 what this guy had done, and I gave him a dirty look. I'm like, what the?
Wow. Way to go. A dirty look. Thank God Greg was there to ladies of the world, young girls, victims of sexual assault. Don't you feel seen? A guy who was charged or was on his way to being charged with sexual assault, and his father, the chief of police, intervened, gave Jeffrey Epstein a dirty look at a musical they were both going to see. What was it? What? In what way?
Heck are you doing here? Now, if I
Why? Because he gave you the same look because you're poor?
knew that.
Like, was Jeffrey Epstein going, does the bus go by this theater? Ha, ha, ha.
You know that. How is it that the director of the Central Intelligence Agency, a guy by the name of William Burns, did not know the deal with Jeffrey Epstein? It is utterly impossible to think that he did not know. That is what
I agree. I don't believe Burns. I don't know if he was doing it for nefarious reasons or he was really looking to hook up with the dude after he left office, because that's how you live in covert circles, or if he was meeting with what would be a possible source or renewing a source or any of that shit. I don't believe that Burns didn't know about it. I also know that Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump knew each other from 1986 till 2 months before he was arrested. And Donald Trump is such a thick motherfucker, he never figured out Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile in 25 goddamn years. Greg.
Burns, he is currently the director at CIA, and the Wall Street Journal revealed...
This is 2 years ago, by the way. This is 2 years ago, Greg.
Hey, the following. They first met in Washington, and then Mr. Burns visited...
Now oh, by the way, can I point out the fact that when it comes to the Epstein story, 2 years younger Greg Kelly totally believes the Wall Street Journal.
Epstein's townhouse in Manhattan.
Yeah, the one given to him by Lex Wexner for $1, where he was Howard Lutnick's fucking neighbor. Howard Lutnick's fucking neighbor.
Now, this happened a few years ago, back when he was the Deputy Secretary of State. That's a very big job. Next, please, these meetings. The director did not know anything about him. This is what the CIA is saying now. The director did not know anything about him. Epstein just offered general advice on transition to the private.
For the record, I don't know anybody that just believes any statement that the CIA puts out, and they don't even have to be lying for nefarious reasons. It's the CIA. Why would I take this as rote? Here's the thing. Donald Trump was still friends with the dude after he got arrested.
You know, tips on his resume, right? Just shine your shoes and have a firm handshake as you transition to the private sector. These denials stink, and everybody knows it.
You want to talk about some stinky denials? How about Trump's fucking sweaty-eared hairdo when he's partying with Jeffrey Epstein and like 30 models, and it was supposed to be a party for VIPs, and the guy who threw the party went, wait a minute, the only people here are you and Epstein? What the fuck is this?
Number 2 man at the Central Intelligence Agency. You know how many people work there? Yeah, close to 80,000 or so people. And he's the number 2 guy. And he could not figure it out that this was a convicted sex offender. Now, look, there is a time and a place for redemption.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Yes, just because somebody has done something like that doesn't mean they're going to do it again. Just like you told your dad when he got the case thrown out, allegedly.
People can come back from horrible crimes, but this guy had hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank. You know, good luck. And Epstein showed no signs whatsoever of remorse or regret. You saw that in the clip we showed a little while ago. It's interesting. The Deputy Secretary of State, whether it's this guy or Tony Blinken, they love lowlifes. Hunter Biden could summon the deputy.
All right. So this was very transitions. Notice how he mentions Epstein in this entire segment just 2 years ago. This isn't, this is during Biden, but without mentioning Trump. He's however long, he's 4 minutes into this clip, doesn't mention Trump once. Now, does he at all? Let's see. That's him in the 70s. A little bit of history. There's, wait, hold on. Maybe he talks about Bill Barr. Let's see.
Speaking, you need those to, be a teacher, to get a teaching certificate.
Unless
here's where it gets really weird.
Is it weird? Is the word weird?
The man who hired him at the Dalton School, his name is Donald Barr. He is the late father of William Barr, the Attorney General. Yes, that guy.
Yeah, weird. And Trump hired him and Pam Bondi, who was the AG after, hired Alex Acosta, who was the AG that gave Epstein the sweetheart deal. And then Pam Bondi, the AG after him, who could have torn up that sweetheart deal and prosecuted him on a myriad of stuff and gone after his collaborators. And she didn't. And then Bill Barr is the guy whose dad gave him a job at the all-girls school. That's just funny. It's funny.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
I'm not implying there's anything. No, I'm not implying anything. I'm just pointing out that is totally.
That's because you're a pussy. The reason you're not implying anything is because you're doing what I would call allowing for the inference thereof. It's the wussy's version of implication. This is how you imply without implying. You allow for the inference thereof. You lay it on the table, and then you let other people infer from it with the active point of knowing they will infer. Right. Allowing for the inference thereof.
And that all of these ultra important people gravitated around Jeffrey Epstein.
And like there's a guy, I know he's on the tip of like who?
Andrew, Bill Clinton, and now the CIA director.
And there's another guy. He's kind of important. He's Fuck, I'm blitzing on his name. I just saw a South Park video where he's naked in a desert and his tiny little pecker is saying, I approve this message.
That's really crazy. And you know, they like to play this.
There we
video.
go.
Well, Donald Trump was associated with Fred
Oh, yeah. You think they stopped being friends in 92?
as well. You got to go way, way, way back. Way.
No, you don't. Hold on. When was the article about him being interesting? Like 2002?
Before any of this stuff came to light.
No, you don't.
And Donald Trump did finally get the vibe that this guy was no good, cut all ties with him.
2 months before he was arrested. Epstein says that Trump ratted him out, and it's believed that Trump actually tipped Epstein off that he was going to get busted before the raids could happen so that he could get rid of shit, especially stuff that would incriminate Donald because he was doing him a solid.
Years before he was arrested for these unspeakable crimes. He's almost always right. Actually, he's always right.
Whoa, hang the fuck out. Well, hold on. Let's see what he plays to. Wait.
This.
They're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's his fallback. He was right about Epstein because he ditched him right as the FBI was closing in on him. As the case was ongoing, by the way. Donald Trump was still involved in a real estate deal with this motherfucker. Okay, hold on. Chat room, I'll bring you back in for just one moment. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein, Trump, fun guy. How Trump and Joe Biden friendship ended badly. This is USA Today. New photos and ties highlights. He's a lot of fun to be with. That's what it was. Okay, so here you go. Please grow up, you bastard. Got show the radar on this, you fucking. All right, Greg, this one's for you. Wherever you are, you absolute asshole. This also goes out to Glenn Beck. Glenn, stop actively lying to the people that watch the Blase, or as Tara Dublin calls it, the Be Lazy. And Greg, fuck you. Come here. As Trump claims he's not a fan of Epstein, photos, videos, and anecdotes paint a picture of their relationship. The relationship would eventually break down. The men falling out over a bidding war on a property in Florida. And after Epstein was convicted of child sex offenses in 2008, Trump distanced himself from the financier, claiming he was not a fan. But photos, videos, and anecdotes paint a picture of a close friendship of two middle-aged men who repeatedly partied together, both alone with their partners, including Melania Knauss, who would go on to become Trump's third wife. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy, he told New York Magazine in 2002. A decade after that video clip you just played, Greg. A decade. They were still partying. I've known him for, and by the way, Trump knew him longer than that. Trump knew him at that point for something like 17 years. He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even that he said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. It would be shortly after that, by the way, that he'd be on the Howard Stern show and say that Trump would say that he has no bottom age-wise except maybe 12 years old because he doesn't want to be like Mark Foley. Trump's insight into Epstein's predilections would be proved true in macabre fashion when Epstein was found guilty in 2008 of sexually abusing girls aged between 14 and 17. When Epstein was charged with sex trafficking minors in 2019, he attempted to play down the relationship, insisting, I knew him like everybody in Palm Beach knew him. I was not a fan of his. But during the 15 years the men, 25, during the 15 years the men were friends because he lied about being friends, that the friendship broke up, and now we know there are call logs where they talked regularly after. New York Times reported in 92, Greg Horaney, a Florida-based businessman, had organized a calendar girl competition in Mar-a-Lago, Trump's private members club, where he would later live full-time. He flew more than 24 women to Mar-a-Lago, but he had a surprise when he arrived. I arranged to have some contestants fly in. At the very first party, I said, who's coming tonight? I have 28 girls coming. It was him and Epstein. So and Greg wants to jump to this, whatever, like, he was right about brown people.
Good people.
Remember this? And how the media just lost their minds. The campaign is dead on arrival. How dare this man speak the truth so boldly, so plainly? They can't handle the truth. They literally can't handle the truth.
The people coming to the United States, whether they're economic migrants or they're fleeing oppression or whatever brings them here, if they're just seeking everything, the chance that immigrants got coming here at all times in our history, they are not being sent. They are not heat-seeking missiles sent by foreign governments to destroy the United States. That's what he was implying. They're not sending their best is the entirety of the lie. That and the fact that you're an absolute asshole.
Yes, he's talking about it coming up.
All right, yeah.
In Cleveland, a man opened fire, killed at least 5 people in his neighborhood. He was known to kind of shoot his gun off. The neighbors didn't like it. Here's
I remember
the suspect, an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, okay, we've seen this guy before.
Accountability.
All right. So this is
Since my first day in office.
This is where he went 2 years ago from hey, I remember this guy. Remember this guy? Right? New Epstein associates listed in private calendar. I guess the whole thing is that Trump isn't new. All right. Okay, so this is Greg years later, bloated by bourbon and regret. Dealing with the fact that the Donald Trump smoke screen is not working.
News right now, but we're going to put it aside because these are the things that I did vote for when I voted for President Trump, securing the border.
I see. Okay, so this is they all got talking points last week. Talk about the wins. Even Trump has been saying in his little gaggles, you should be talking about this, as if he's still on the phone with Greg Kelly, still on the phone with whatever. I don't know, any number of whoever he's screaming, Megyn Kelly, whoever the fuck he's yelling at these days. Secure border, and then Doge, and protecting women and girls. Oh, from trans people, not from, ectopic pregnancies, which, again, statistically, what are your chances? All right. War on woke. This is what you went for. Ending a war India, Pakistan, Rwanda, Congo, which, again, wasn't a raging war. Ending another war, which is still going on. I love it. It just says ending another war. And then underneath it, it insists America reaches the golden age under Trump. And then he's got a peace agenda. Oh, let's see what his peace agenda is. I'm curious.
Israel, of course, we helped with that one a little bit. And peace is finally on the agenda in Ukraine, everybody. In 3.5 years? And also,
wait, what the fuck? Hold on. Fuck was that?
In Ukraine, everybody. In 3.5 years?
Wait, what did Greg's staff cut out? It can't be him saying something unbelievably stupid. They're way too late for that.
And also Israel and Hamas. That was just going on and on and on. And it looks like you can see light at the end of.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Solovyev and Simonyan were talking about nuking Berlin yesterday, just like they were 6 fucking months ago. Asshole.
Tunnel. I think that's fantastic. Here's something else I voted for, and I'm so happy he did it. Pardoning the January 6ers, who were so unfairly
with an auto pen
were prosecuted and persecuted. And
well, they were prosecuted. They were given their, I guess you have to say persecuted, not prosecuted, because if you bring up the fact they were prosecuted, it would show that they had due process and they screwed the pooch.
They tried to cancel an entire political movement, and they used the.
No, they didn't. You tried to. Greg Kelly, you're the one fucking up MAGA. You're the one saying that the Jan 6ers, people who charged up the steps, beat cops, stabbed them with sharpened flagpoles, brought guns, brought knives like your Canada girlfriend, Ashley Babbitt, took a shit in the rotunda, stole a laptop and tried to sell it to fucking Russia. You're saying those people are MAGA. That's not us trying to destroy your movement. That's you trying to destroy your movement, dipshit.
People as pawns, and it's just, he did.
Pawns? What do you think Trump did? Walk down there and I'll walk down there with you. Sounds exactly like something somebody on the back row of the chessboard would say.
To do that, but he did it, and it's awesome. I also
especially the ones that have been rearrested for either sex crimes or violence.
like MAGA, Make America Healthy Again. If you haven't seen it, I suggest.
Oh, right. You mean the thing where he got him to take out fluoride? Trump rescinded that, and they like everything that he does, Trump undermines it. Also, by the way, can I bring up something? And I don't want to upset Greg. Yes, I do. Susie Wiles and Pam Bondi both work for the same lobbying firm, and their biggest client, Pam Bondi's singular biggest client was Qatar, but the company's biggest client, Pfizer. I'm just saying, if you're a maggot and you're expecting, some sort of show trial, I will enjoy watching your meltdown.
Watch Robert F. Kennedy's speech where he endorsed President Trump last summer, and it just might change your approach to nutrition and give you some very interesting things to think about regarding some of the medications that pharmaceutical companies seem so intent on serving up.
Jesus Christ. Like what? Again, 1,300 measles cases, a bunch of dead kids in Texas. Maha
Has done this and so much.
Maha sounds like something Stewie, the next door neighbor on Family Guy, says.
And
or is it on Simpsons? Whatever.
his approval rating has at times surged above 50%. That is
Has at time. Not right now. Sorry. That's how you do it now. You find the peak of his approval rating, and as it takes a giant shit, especially about the Epstein stuff, which apparently, according to you, nobody cares about, and it's cratering, even amongst the hardcore base, you're just going to play the top, which, by the way, was a Rasmussen one anyways, like front-loaded. Oh, my God.
a lot of accomplishment and a lot of sacrifice to get to this point, right? What he went through for us.
He didn't go through anything for us. He just made like $500 million on Bitcoin.
Room stuff, the phony prosecutions.
No, they were real prosecutions and real convictions.
Arrested. He complied with the law because that's who he is, but
What? No, he didn't. He complied with the law because he was scared that they would come get him because they would have the right to, because you have to, stupid.
this is all fake nonsense, harassment, and he put up with it and he won. Of course, they tried to kill.
No, he didn't. He was found guilty.
Right?
Okay, no, they didn't. No, Thomas Crooks was used, as far as anybody knows, and you can let me know, you're the one who's all worried about woke, so you've got the woke radar everywhere. Didn't use they, them pronouns, motherfucker. Thomas Crooks was he, him, insofar as I know. Feel free to change my mind.
And he put up with it and he won. Of course, they
Well, obviously, Eugene Carroll kicked his ass.
tried to kill him, right? And I know some of my friends in MAGA, well, my friends in MAGA are not abandoning Trump, but some of my
Greg, it's okay. We know you don't have any friends.
allies, they're just, I don't like the way they're talking. I just don't. Now,
Aw.
it's fine to have policy differences, of course, right?
Yeah. But you cannot question his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and his inability to release the files and his bullshit memo where he said there's no there. And even Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton are not on the hook for anything anymore because Trump's DOJ said so. You do understand that, right? Everybody shut. Bill Gates, fucking Andrew, Bill Clinton, everybody you were talking about, fucking Bill Richardson, all those people. Right? None of them are on the hook anymore.
But the big picture, President Trump did save America.
That's a nice tongue jet. Right? He did save America.
Here's Elon Musk. Now, I know they've had some policy differences.
Yes, the policy is that Elon Musk gets whacked out of his fucking gourd on ketamine and apparently tells uncomfortable truths because that's where his ego grows. That's like the manure his ego grows out of. So he brought up the fact that Trump's in the Epstein files, and that's why they won't be released. And then a couple of weeks later, what files? So yeah, is that the policy you're talking about?
About the big beautiful bill, and that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. They're both going to run on, we've got to cut the budget, and it's dangerous to run deficits and debts like this. And then Trump's going to go, just kidding. This is not my money.
That's part of life.
It is. And it's part of friendships. It's the bond people have, Greg. Thank you. And if anybody knows what it's like to maintain long and abiding friendships, it's, sorry, I can't.
But we would not have had a country had President Trump not prevailed.
Fuck you. Like every person serving in the military right now, every person serving in the federal judiciary for that matter, every person who works at the FAA and keeps planes from falling out of the fucking sky would like to disagree. This is not like Arthur, King of the Britons.
Elon Musk, I don't think he regrets anything. I don't think he regrets Doge or the...
I guess you don't think so? You don't think he now regrets working for the dude who added, $3.6 to $5.2 trillion to the debt in under 5 years?
Beautiful bill that pales in comparison to what would have happened if President Trump lost.
And free speech is the bedrock of democracy.
Yeah, and no one lost their free speech. Private companies can kick you off their site if they don't like what you're saying. Twitter and all these other sites are not the public fucking square. And if you want one, here, try this on for size. Try opening an America-only social media platform run by the government, you fucking commie.
And if people don't know what's going on, if they don't know the truth, how can you make an informed vote?
That's right. If only somebody on that stage had mentioned that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files and that's why they'll never come out at the time, maybe the voters at that thing would have been informed. I'm fucking with you.
To have free speech in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment.
Technically, it's there so that we have all the amendments and the Constitution because it's meant to help us maintain a militia before we had a standing army.
President Trump must win to preserve the Constitution. He must win to preserve democracy in America.
Man, he must feel like a right prick right about now.
That's how important his victory was.
I almost feel like there should be a narrator moment like that. Turns out the opposite was actually true. My friend Andy.
President Trump must win to preserve the Constitution, preserve democracy in America. That's the big picture.
It is.
Success.
Yeah, who needs to care about this Epstein stuff anyways? Who needs to be informed as a voter about Trump's inability to tell that Jeffrey Epstein was a fucking pedophile, even though they were friends for 25 goddamn years? Yeah, maybe that might inform how he hires people like Pam Bondi and Bill Barr and other folks like that. That might make MAGA understand that maybe he's not the best judge of character at all. But, fuck it.
I can understand his frustration over this Epstein character because we have been lied to about a lot of this. And
have you been lied to about a lot of this? I don't think you have. Apparently you haven't. According to Pam Bondi's thing, when people told you there was nothing there, dude, there was nothing there. You've been lied to about this, I think, if I'm understanding you, and I probably am not, by Kash Patel and Dan Bongholio, who was looking for a tipi for his bunghole.
I think it was a deep state operation. Oh, yes, I do.
Is that why he's still alive?
Now, I know that there's some MAGA disenchantment right now. And
it's very sad. Yes, there is.
the tweets from all over the place. Congress, Marjorie Taylor Greene's upset.
Oh, it's terrible.
A lot of folks are upset. But sometimes you can tell who's genuine and who's not.
Right.
And
yeah, that's right. Yes, thank you, Greg. Tell us who's genuine and who's not.
is, yes, just that he is alive and well somewhere, that his death was faked. Try looking for the pictures of his body. All right. They actually are findable on the internet.
Thank you. Somebody at least was telling us the truth. Oh, he wasn't. That guy was lying to us. I see. I beg your pardon.
Once you find him, this is not the picture. You'll see.
Oh, sorry. It's playing the wrong video. Beg your pardon.
Big one's coming up. Yeah. Look at that.
Oh, it's just, it's so upsetting. Yeah. That it took them this long to figure it out.
No. Put that back up. That's the Nikki Haley tweet, everybody. Nikki Haley, the ultimate swamp steak herself, Nikki.
What the fuck are you talking about? Trump hired her. Release the Epstein files and let the chips fall where they may. This is why people don't trust government. You can never go wrong with being transparent. Redact victims' names, but release the rest. What's wrong with that? Explain that to me, Greg. Oh, I mean, the only thing I can draw, and it's a rough one. It's difficult for me to come, knowing who you are, Greg, that I just have to assume you're in the lists as well. You're in the files. You're in the evidence. That's the only thing I can think, that you were at that musical with him and then you guys hung out afterwards. And next day you woke up in a strange bed with your pants on backwards and someone was playing a slideshow on the wall with a list of demands. And then you got a job at Newsmax. I mean, I'm assuming that's how it went down. It sounds like it.
Wants the Epstein files revealed right away. She's going all ultra MAGA all of a sudden. This is performance art for these people. They think that they can out MAGA President Trump.
What? How? By what? Asking him to live up to one of his promises?
They don't know what they're talking about.
Or his half promises, I guess?
This is what you need to know. That tweet reveals how phony so much of this is.
Why is it phony when she tweets it, but when Marge and these others do it, then it's on the up and up?
She wants to see the Epstein files. She could care less. All right.
That bitch. How dare she? At least we could talk about her because she's not really around much.
And this is not about women and girls. It never
not for you.
Has been with this Epstein stuff. It's about trying to trip up President Trump.
How dare they? It's disgusting.
There are some allies who have concerns, and I have to correct them.
Yes, please. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. It's about goddamn time. Don't switch. There you go. Echo on video. Okay, good. I was just checking.
Correct my friends.
Yes, correct your friends that aren't friends.
Johnson has done some amazing work over.
Oh, Benny Johnson. What now?
Especially on the assassination attempt. Everybody likes Benny. He says,
except Donald Trump, I think, right now.
Kind of important here about what this Epstein stuff is all about.
The hokey pokey? Sorry, I was told my entire life that's what it's all about, so.
The most viral clips on the Epstein topic has come from this show because it's a winning topic, frankly.
Yeah, it's a winning topic.
Oh, I see. So this was, by the way, I think Benny Johnson's response to Trump saying it's boring and nobody's interested. And his defense is, what are you talking about? Like, people are eating this stuff up because they are interested. And what Greg is doing, congratulations, Benny. You're being stabbed to death with a dull butter knife. He's turning that clip, he's cutting that part off that he was referencing the it's boring, nobody's interested thing from Donald Trump and making it look like this is just Benny confessing that he's in it for the money. I give a shit, but that's fun.
It is a hot topic and people, right? It's popular. People are fascinated, but there's.
Yeah, it is. Any argument there? Which means Trump is a lying piece of shit?
What's going on around here? A lot of misassumptions and people getting the facts wrong.
Oh yeah, Greg, please correct Benny Johnson. I would love nothing more than watching you throw Benny Johnson under the fucking bus. It's about goddamn school this motherfucker, Greg.
Next, Benny had something to say and something to show us.
Uh-oh.
Donald Trump began his political career talking about Jeffrey Epstein. We'll just play it very quickly here. Like, bringing this into the public arena was President Trump. That's a matter of historic record. It's not up for debate. And Donald Trump, it was 10 years ago, a decade ago, on stage, before anybody ever heard of Prince Andrew or Bill Clinton and Epstein Island. No one knew about those things. And this is what Trump said at the time.
Pump up the volume, everybody. Pump up the volume.
Yeah, jam. I got the power. Sorry, I just watched Hudson Hawk last night again.
A lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein.
You raised the question of Jeffrey Epstein in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew.
Hey, what about the house in New York that you hung out at? Or the house in Palm Beach that you hung out at? Or the fact that he hung out at your house in New York and your hotel in New York and your house in Palm Beach and the house in New Mexico where you've gone to golf many times?
He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool.
An absolute cesspool. Apparently he was lying, though, because if Pam Bondi put out a thing, that's not true. They raided the place. They didn't find anything. It's just this dude by himself getting hand jobs from underage kids, and that was that. That's the end of it. Guy's dead. Move on.
Nobody ever heard of Bill Clinton on a predator island before Donald Trump brought it up, or Prince Andrew.
Well, that's not true.
Damn.
Years ago, the story was almost 10 years old. Epstein was arrested all the way back in 2005, actually.
Yeah, but it wasn't boiling up into the political sphere, and it certainly wasn't part of a presidential campaign up till that point. But I hear you. Keep at it.
And he was finally pled guilty in 2008. That's 7 years before President Trump showed up on that stage. And it received...
It's also, I guess, 6 years after he was arrested. 5 years after he was arrested and charged, he was finally sentenced. And he, I guess... That's what he started his sentence, which was like, I want to say 6 to 8 months after he was sentenced anyways. And he still had a key to the fucking jail under Pam Bondi at that point. And Donald Trump was still friends with him at least till 2005. That's when the phone records sort of dry up.
Major coverage, New York Times, July 1st, 2008. And a lot of sordid details were in there. The bad news arrived by phone last week on Little St. James Island, the Palm Fringe Xanadu in the Caribbean, where Jeffrey Epstein, advisor to billionaires, lives in secluded splendor. Again, 2008. Report to the Palm Beach County Jail, the caller, Mr. Epstein's lawyer, said. The lurid details of the case have captivated wealthy circles in Palm Beach and New York and transformed.
Wait, Palm Beach and New York. Who's a big figure that lives in both of those places? There's somebody very politically connected. I'm brain farting right now. Who specifically lived in both of those places? Went back and forth all the time.
Epstein, who shuns publicity and whose business depends on discretion, into a figure of public ridicule. 7 years before President Trump started.
Huh. Hold on one second. Financier starts sentence in prostitution case. Shall we give it a shot? Let's see. Financier starts prison sentence. Epstein, New York Times. There you go. Okay, and then let's see. Command 7. Wait, no. Whoops. Go back here. Hold on. Control 7. What is it? Save. Let's see. Beggar. Nope. Okay. let's see. I feel like I want to do this. What caused another sex offender? He did what he caused. The defenders sitting on his patio at Little St. James Virgin Islands. Mr. Epstein gazed at his jerseys. Gulliver's Playfulness intended coincidence. What happens to us with wealth? They're expected to burden us with all the benefits. Ziegfeld movie theater. Blah blah blah. Legal drama began when a woman gave Mr. Epstein passages. Let's see if I can bring this up for you guys to see here. A woman who gave Mr. Epstein massages told local police about the encounter. She was 14 at the time. 2005. Donald Trump was friends with him up till like 3 months right before that. July 2005, Florida jury ultimatum, plead guilty. David Weinstein, lurid details. The stalker's target of lawsuits. Taught briefly at Dalton, Manhattan, then joined Bear Stearns. Business Mr. Epstein explained to provide a special form of super elite financial advice. Brave age, your body can be confined, but not your mind, he said in a recent interview by phone. As it became clear he was headed for jail, he said, your body can be confined, but not your mind. But he also got, his body wasn't confined. He got a fucking key to the jail. But I recognize that I might be perceived as one of the New York arrogant rich, like Donald Trump. Looks back, I'm not blameless. For starters, a high-profile male has hired a full-time male masseur. Man happens to be an ultimate fighting champion. He's also organized what he calls a board of directors of friends to counsel him on his behaviors. That's so lovely. And he's changed his email address to alert people that he will be unavailable for the next 18 months. The new address indicates he's on vacation. This is the article. This is when was this? This article came out in, let's see, 2008, July of 2008. Excellent. Well, tell you what, Greg, I'm going to go even further in this. If I was to say July 2008, Trump. Donald Trump on the Howard Stern Show, July 16, 2008. Roll call. Okay, so this is right about the time. Let's see. Stuff like that. So Trump in July, while Jeffrey Epstein was being sentenced, and went and had to report to jail. Like 12, 14 people sit at a table and say, let's have a stupid, I say, talk about ExxonMobil, blah, blah. Jim Cramer's a great guy. You're telling the lots out there. The problem with this country, the question, you feel your hand, you don't talk about it, your business. So if you were President Trump, I'll go back to that now. Would you pressure the Saudis? Would you say, listen, we're going to let other countries invade you. You're not going to protect you anymore. He said, Mr. Trump, I'm a great negotiator. I've negotiated well. I read all your books. I'm making a deal with this guy, right? He said, I'm a great negotiator. I really negotiate too. I've never met a good negotiator that tells you he's a good negotiator. You don't talk about it. You'd rather go in anyway, blah, blah, blah. We should be revealing that. Let's see. Fixed meaning painting. Interview with, sorry. Never mind that. Melania's still tight. I mean, how's she look? She's looking good. I saw an interview that my fiance did with her. Right, true. She thinks your fiance is great. After the baby, do you think we're going to invite Melania and Trump to the wedding? Absolutely. He's speaking about himself in the third person. I said, I'm going to invite Trump and Melania. Are they on the list? They're on the list. They don't have to. Everybody wants me no matter where it is, how they all want Trump. Trump is hot. Trump says about himself in fucking 2018. I'm going to invite you, blah, blah, blah. Your ex-wife, Marla Maples, you were just National Enquirer. You said her body is one of the tightest bodies around. She's a great-looking girl. She still looks good. She was a gymnast or something. She's a beautiful girl, but during the wedding, and Howard Stern sat ranked to O.J. Simpson. In fact, he put me right on the cover. Me and O.J. at the back cover of his book, which it did very nicely. This is Donald bragging about the picture of him and O.J. Simpson. And by the way, we now know that Jeffrey Epstein was at that fucking wedding. Holy shit, your ex-wife, Marla Maples, did. She's a beautiful girl, but during the wedding, and Howard sat right there next to O.J. Simpson, and in fact, he put me right on the cover. Me and O.J. at the back cover of the book, which did very nicely. But at the wedding, I was with Marla, and Marla is really nice girl, but yeah, I made a mistake, but she was great. But here's Howard's statement that you be one of the people I have. Everybody in New York is the biggest, craziest thing to happen all year. They have to interview Howard, right? So I go back to Marla. She wants to make love, and I want to watch television to see what kind of coverage we're getting. This is the wedding night. So I go back, and Marla wants to make love, and I want to watch television and see what kind of coverage we're getting. That's why you're successful. I knew the marriage was in trouble the first night. When you do that, that's not a good sign. You agree with that, Robin? I agree. You should have been for the sex. So she's in bed saying, darling, I love you. I'm going to find out, who's on. So the only guy they have with all these people, big celebrities, everybody was there, you would say. That's right. I mean, OJ, when he was hot, right? Of course, you said you could say he's hotter in a bad way. The hottest, in fact, have to. Okay, before I talk to OJ, because I do have to tell you about OJ and The Apprentice, I'm going to talk about that. NBC went totally crazy when I went to put OJ in The Apprentice switch. Let me ask you something. Do you still talk to OJ? Howard said that there wasn't a wet eye in the house. And then he said, now Marla's watching this. As you know, she's a very romantic person because there's not a wet eye in the house. I thought that was her. I cracked up, and then it was true. Yeah, that's the sad part. Nobody was crying at my wedding. No one cared. It was like, I guess maybe that's an edit to avoid talking about OJ. And then another comment. Do you remember your other comment? Yeah, I said the marriage would last 6 months. That's what Howard said. 6 months, and you were wrong. You were wrong. It lasted 4 years. It did. You were wrong. I was wrong. But you said you were going to say about this wedding. Well, Melania knows people very well, and she thinks you're marrying a spectacular woman. She likes Beth, and I probably would. Howard might not invite me, but I think Beth wants Melania to be there, right? She does. That's true. But you think it's a great relationship. This is the same time that as this story about Epstein is coming out. This is 2 weeks after Epstein reports to jail. Oh, hold on. Yeah.
Seriously talking about President Trump. This was everywhere. I remember it. People don't remember.
Also, in that story, they don't really talk about Bill Clinton and stuff. They just talk about rich and powerful people, but they don't name drop Bill Clinton in that story. Insofar as I know, did they? Hold on. What's the line search? Hold on. How you do? What's the? I don't know what they. This is a PC keyboard on a Mac, so I don't know what the word search is on this one. But grew up at Coney Island, blah blah blah. Federal prosecutors. I'm skimming, but I don't see a sense of entitlement sets in. This is the guy who's saying like he did this because he's rich. He's got affluenza. Sitting on his patio on Little St. Jeff's. There's a big St. Jeff's too. Like himself to Gulliver. Talks about this. Epstein, a separate library to house Mr. Epstein's 9,000 volumes of Japanese bathhouse, what he calls the Ziegfeld movie theater. Now the reality, that private paradise. The legal drama again in 2005. Okay, here we go. No, this is just his legal team. Alan Dershowitz. Mr. Epstein's legal team, which would eventually include former prosecutor Ken Starr. The fucking nerve. And Alan Dershowitz was elated Mr. Epstein would avoid prison, but the United States Attorney's Office in Miami became involved. Mr. Epstein got an ultimatum, plead guilty to charge that would require him to register as a sex offender, not in every state, just in Florida, because he didn't have to in New Mexico. Or New York, I don't think. Or the government would charge him with sex tourism, according to people who briefed on the thing. David Weinstein, attorney in the Miami office, did this. And our adequate resolution. Lurid details captivated New York Times. Said to have 100 letters. Gold. He recently received a package of gold-tinted condoms. In recent months, he said he received over 100 letters a week asking for money or jobs as a masseuse. It's been a long time. Coney Island. He grew up there. Manhattan School. Let's see. Claims to provide specialized form of thing. Private agreement, paternity lawsuits, jets. Anxious, arrogant, rich. Yep. Nope. Yeah. There's no mention of fucking Bill Clinton in this at all, asshole. Yeah. It's just, that article is just about fucking Epstein. Jesus, I mean, why am I surprised? Why? Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. Why am I surprised that Greg manages, I think, to find the only article about Jeffrey Epstein that doesn't mention Clinton, because he had to look for one that doesn't also mention Trump. So to find one that doesn't mention Trump, he had to find one that doesn't mention fucking anybody.
They don't know
No
the
pun
difference
intended.
between 2008 and 2015. And this is, again, 2000.
In 2008, Trump was still bragging about OJ being at his fucking wedding to Marla Maples, a wedding marriage that lasted 4 years because he was already fucking Melania, a woman who was introduced to him by Ghislaine Maxwell.
It was national. It was local. It was all over the place.
Jeffrey Epstein went to jail just before 10 this morning. He pleaded guilty in open court.
Wait, WPTV? Oh my God. How did everyone not see this?
He agreed to serve a total of 18 months in the...
You don't have a CNN fucking clip? Jesus Christ, man, you're attacking Democrats. Find a MSNBC clip. There's got to be one. Can you not afford to use the clip?
Beach detention facility, 12 for felony solicitation of prostitutes, and an additional 6 for procuring persons under 18 for prostitution. The convictions stem from several incidents from August of 2004 to October of 2005. The prosecuting attorney would not say how many female victims there are. She would only say there was more than one adult victim and more than one underaged victim.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you hear any mention of and again, what makes this case stand out is the fact that other high power people are mentioned in it. Les Wexner, Trump, Alan Dershowitz, and yes, Bill Clinton and Bill Gates, and fucking Stephen Hawking. That's what makes it stand out. You're not playing clips that show any of that shit. And plus, why don't you just show clips of every other fucking pedophile that was arrested, between 2005 and 2009? Also, can I point out who was president in 2008 and whose brother was the governor of Florida in 2008? What party ran the country?
The media, and you heard about how far it went back. I got a couple other things to show you.
You haven't shown us anything yet. I'm enjoying this, though. I am. This is look at his face. Look at Greg's miserable fucking face.
This is The Guardian in 2011.
Ooh, in 2011.
Right? Just what is the fourth in line to the throne doing, meeting a convicted child sex pervert, even if he is a billionaire?
News of the World publishes a first-class royal scoop. It was a first-class royal scoop in 2011? Sorry, the Prince Andrew shit didn't come out till 2011?
They were talking about the article was built around revealing picture of Prince Andrew strolling in New York Central Park with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, right. Yeah. When they were both at the fucking Plaza Hotel that Trump owned.
4 years before President Trump was asked about this stuff. Yeah, just what is the fourth in line? You see what I mean, right? And the idea, everybody, that President Trump staked his reputation on this is false. I got one.
First of all, staked his reputation on this?
To show you the Wall Street Journal. This goes back again to 2011. 58-year-old Jeffrey Epstein, a U.S. financier who in a Florida court in 2008 pleaded guilty to a felony charge of...
Yeah, this is about Prince Andrew. First of all, the biggest part of this, who gives a shit about Prince Andrew in that regard other than he's, I guess, a rich and powerful person who had access to girls and it's fucking gross. But he has no control over here. He's a third-tier fucking royal from the country we kicked out of our country. The Clinton thing is the thing that should stand out to you, and that's not mentioned in any of this shit because, again, if they mention Bill Clinton, they're going to mention Trump. You know why? Because Clinton and Trump hung out at that period of time, too. Because Trump was trying to get in with Democrats because that was where the power was. And because he didn't have a connection to the oil guys in Texas, the Bush family.
Solicitation of prostitution involving a minor. All right. Next, please. Mr. Epstein, who admitted guilt as part of a plea deal with prosecutors, was released last summer after serving about 13 months in jail. And that was controversial. And this is.
Yes. Why was that? Oh, because Donald Trump hired the guy that gave him a deal to be the labor secretary.
Who was president in 2008? Right. It was Bush.
That's right. A Republican.
Who was president in 2011? It was Obama.
That's right.
President.
Pressure mounts on Prince Andrew.
Trump never made a focus of anything. In 2015, I was in the room when he declared for president. He didn't say one damn thing about Epstein.
Yeah. He wouldn't. He said it later.
He talked about borders. He talked about not losing war. He talked about all kinds of things, not Epstein. When he ran for president successfully, again in 2022, not a word about Epstein.
Well, because the guy had died while he was president or escaped, according to some dipshit on the internet. What's his name again?
He was not dead.
Oh, yeah, that guy. some asshole on the internet.
And it goes on like this. He never promised anybody anything about Epstein. The convention speeches, look them up. Watch every single one of them. He's done 3, more than basically. No. All right? You get this? You get the picture? Another thing, the State of the Union.
Sorry, nobody brought. Why would you bring up a pedophile in a State of the Union, you weirdo? You're selling your agenda. And again, the agenda thing isn't like I'm ordering today that the release of these files. Of course he wouldn't. He's fucking in them.
Made these promises. He doesn't care. He's not interested. Now, if somebody asked him a question, he said what he knew. And that's fair. And now he's telling.
And now?
Even more about what he knows and his frustrations, and I think it's totally legitimate.
Yeah, it's legit. He's very frustrated that, I mean, you're not even letting him mourn his wingman.
Put them up on the screen, please. These scams and hoaxes are all the Democrats are good at. It's all they have. They are no good at governing, no good at politics.
Hey, asshole, you do realize you just showed us evidence of the dude being convicted in a court of law for being a pedophile and serving that time. Right? And being friends with, like you brought up, like, he didn't bring up the Prince Andrew thing. It was well known that they were friends. Like, this has been a scandal for a long fucking time. There's no hoax to it at all.
You're no good at picking winning candidates. Also, unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have bought into this BS hook, line, and sinker.
Yes, past supporters.
I have had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history. And all these people want to talk about, with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems, is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Now, there's more. Okay, let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work.
Yeah, he means everybody else in the media at the time. This is a few days old.
Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success because I don't want their support anymore.
And by the way, this is why Greg Kelly has not done a video about this since. Like, there were a few people that were like, okay, like Charlie Kirk, I'm not talking about this anymore. And then they had to go back to it because people were yelling at them. Not Greg. Greg will never dislodge Trump's nuts from the back of his throat. There's just no way it's going to happen. So he literally just, from this point on, when Trump said so, when he said jump, Greg Kelly said off how high a building.
I understand the frustration, and
I bet you do, considering your dad had to get you out of a similar situation.
There's another big component that everybody else seems to miss. When Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in 2019,
who was president?
They could have arrested him at any time since he got out of prison. Anytime, but they waited until President Trump was president.
They?
Because they thought they could embarrass him.
Whoa. Wow. That's amazing. So sorry. So they put off arresting an international pedophile because they were waiting until Trump was in office. Like, if Trump hadn't been elected, they just would have left the guy alone. Is that the idea? Well, then why the fuck did the Biden administration in the first year of their presidency try and convict Ghislaine? Why didn't they just kick it to the curb and move on?
This is basically the week he was arrested. And watch how much they talk about President Trump.
Epstein has associated with powerful people, including former President Bill Clinton and Donald Trump.
Yeah. Is the problem that they mention him along with everybody else?
A private citizen.
In the past, he socialized with Prince Andrew and President Bill Clinton and Donald Trump.
See, this is why, and look, the only one they've got a picture of them together. That's why Greg's throwing a fit. And that's why I'm going to leave this picture up for a couple more seconds, just because when Greg sees this, and he will, hi, Greg, when he sees this, I want this to drag on him. Greg, this is your buddy and his wingman.
In a 2002 profile in New York Magazine, before any allegations surfaced, Trump called Epstein a, quote, terrific guy, adding, he's a lot of fun to be with.
Adding broader political intrigue to this case, Alex Acosta, who is now President Trump's Secretary of Labor.
How'd that happen? What a weird coincidence, right?
Was then the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida who approved this original plea agreement.
Mr. President, do you have any concerns about the Labor Secretary's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case? I really don't know too much about it.
Yeah, why would he? I mean, it's not a story. He didn't care about it. It's a nothing burger. Thanks, Greg.
A great job as Labor Secretary and
raised Epstein back in the day.
You see what happened here?
Yes, I apparently, just going by the clips that you showed, Jeffrey Epstein, a pedophile, was able to, I guess, work unmolested, no pun intended, in Florida for years without AG Pam Bondi going after him after he'd gotten a sweetheart deal from a dude that Donald Trump would put in his cabinet later. Now, don't get me wrong. The idea that Alex Acosta gave a deal to someone who paid young women for sex, maybe he just thought, that's a form of labor. Maybe, maybe he wanted to, maybe this is what it is. Maybe Donald Trump was thinking outside the box. You know how he is. And he was like, you know what? I need Alex Acosta, somebody who was sympathetic to Jeffrey Epstein. And I got Dershowitz, who thinks that the age of consent should be dropped to the first period that a girl gets. And anytime after her first period, that game on, according to Dershowitz. And maybe he was trying to put those two things together and get, like, Alex Acosta would be the guy that would drop labor laws, down to the absolute bottom. So we could get child labor back to get, really get the, old school robber baron factories back up.
He was president, and they thought this was another thing. This was like the 10,000th thing they could come at him with.
So Jeffrey Epstein did not deserve to be arrested, according to Greg Kelly. Let's just leave it there, shall we? Let's just leave that there, Greg, that you personally thought Jeffrey Epstein, international scumbag of mystery, should not have served jail time, should not have been arrested. Greg Kelly, for the record, thinks Jeffrey Epstein should not have been arrested. Okay, great. Excellent. Great hill to die on, buddy.
From Russia impeachment, the Zelensky phone call, all of this junk, right? And
no, all of it real. Yeah. If he hadn't controlled the Senate, he would have been impeached and removed from office. Clearly.
It's another. And, well, it was Donald Trump's Department of Justice.
Yeah, it was. And by the way, run by a guy whose father gave that motherfucker his first job as a teacher he wasn't qualified to actually have, because he wasn't an accredited teacher, at an all-girls school where he walked around in fucking fur coats with gold chains. Then he went to work for Bear Stearns, was involved in, and then left there and trafficked weapons with Adnan fucking Khashoggi for like 6 years. And then Trump bought Adnan Khashoggi's fucking boat while they were friends. That's all a coincidence. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's just all, you know what I mean? It's just a lot of accidents, a lot of happy accidents.
It was run by that Rob Rosenstein guy. You couldn't trust those. You couldn't. It was the swamp.
It wasn't run by Rod Rosenstein. It was run by Bill Barr. But you can't say Bill Barr because Donald Barr gave him the fucking job. That's amazing. Oh my fucking God. That's the bailout? Maybe he said Donald Barr right after, as he said Bill Barr right after that. Holy fuck. And that is the last, insofar as I can find, and CSL, maybe you can check me on this. That's the last I can find of Greg Kelly talking about Epstein at all.